I'm Danno.
I'm Antonio.
And I'm Gordon.
And this is the Basement Roadshow AV Club. We watch things and talk about them. We're like a book club, minus the clothes. We are back with the next 5 episodes of Arrow Season 1. Just to remind you, we're going back to visit the humble beginnings of the show to see just how far it has come or fallen from the beginning. So let's dive right in.
Snap.
Nobody says that anymore.
What?
Guess you didn't have Facebook on that island?
Nope. Not even a MySpace account. It was a very dark time.
You left Mom in the street, alone and hurt in the street.
I like football.
Together like boyfriend, girlfriend.
And now, some clips that have, to put it mildly, not aged well.
How about Green Arrow? Lame.
So where episodes 1 through 5 had very fast pacing and kept the story moving forward, I feel at least episodes 6 through 8 slowed that pacing down and detracted from the main story arc to focus on getting Oliver to fight actual crime, like stopping bank robbers. And then the 2-episode focus on the Helena Huntress story. What do you think about that?
I think what it really comes down to is the biggest struggle and why you've seen a lot of, especially streaming networks, go away from this 23 episode format is that it's just too much content. Like there has to be this weirdly elastic pacing where sometimes it's like breakneck, other times it's really slow because they're ultimately trying to pad out that time.
So I think that there needed to be kind of just some slowdown on it, introduce some more characters, and tried to develop the existing characters as far as their personalities and whatnot. My personal big issue is the whiplash. It goes from Oliver's killing everyone, stop it, to Oliver doesn't believe in killing anymore. Like, I think he kills the one guard when he's getting kidnapped, and that's about it. And that is a huge tonal shift. Like in the Helena/Huntress arc, oh yeah, killing is bad and whatnot. Like I said, huge whiplash considering what we've already seen.
I do agree that the Helena arc is super jarring and very hypocritical. It seems like once they introduce Diggle, they want to try to build up Oliver's moral compass and kind of solidify that very quickly. And it just kind of comes across as unearned. Like we have the episode with the Royal Flush Gang. We're trying to build up that, okay, you're going to go fight street crime now instead, and we're going to do this. And we're not going to kill people, or we're going to try not to kill people and try to redeem them. And then immediately in the next episode, he's like, yeah, Helena, we don't kill people here. And it's like, dude, we just watched you for 6 episodes. Come on, we know what's going on here.
So to somehow make up for the slowing that we feel in 6 through 8, episode 9 really kicks us right back in and escalates things very quickly with the introduction of the Dark Archer and the reveal of his identity as Malcolm Merlyn. Do you feel that maybe they revealed this too soon, or given the character's history in the comic books, was it smart to go ahead and get the reveal out of the way?
So this is kind of interesting. For those of you who aren't familiar with the comics, so the Dark Archer is sort of Arrow's take on the Merlin, who's really the Green Arrow's biggest nemesis. He's the classic Marvel Cinematic Universe villain of he's like the Green Arrow, but in the comics, actually, his identity, who he actually is Tommy. Tommy is the Merlin in the comics. So I thought this was actually really interesting, and that they established Tommy as a character. And anyone who's read the comics is like, ooh, I wonder if he's going to become the Merlin one day, and we're going to have to deal with him. And then it's just psych, why do you think we hired John Barrowman? Here he is.
What do you say I take you home and eat your pussy?
So I actually really liked the reveal at the time. Now it's okay, I've seen so many seasons of John Barrowman as Malcolm Merlyn that it loses a bit of luster, but still really like the character. It is interesting that they reveal him so early on, but you definitely are already getting that sense that Malcolm Merlyn's up to no good. So I think it sort of fits with what they've established so far in the story.
So I'm coming at this from a different perspective because I'm not familiar with the Green Arrow comics, or really the Green Arrow as a character aside from this show. Don't get me wrong, John Barrowman's great.
What do you say I take you home and eat your pussy?
but I think it's a little bit too fast. I think there could have been a couple, like maybe an episode, maybe two more of just the Dark Archer being the menacing villain.
In episode 9, the fight between the Dark Archer and Oliver is, in my opinion, incredibly shot and comes off as terribly brutal against Oliver. Maybe I'm a bit of a sadist or something, but I really enjoy fights where our heroes get beaten down. I think giving our hero a seemingly insurmountable challenge raises the stakes of the battle. Gordon, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Huge fan. I agree with you. I like seeing the hero lose, or at least like be put in a situation where it's like, yeah, he has something that he has to work towards and over. And I think it does a good job of setting like two things. Number one, like Oliver, to this point, he's kind of had all the answers, and he's just been able to kind of just get by being so incredibly skilled. This is the first time like he finds someone who's like tougher than him. And two, it does a good job of setting up like this is the big villain, right? Like everyone he's fought up until this point has been kind of chump change. This is now like the real deal, something that's really gonna test him as he moves forward. So I love that part. And yeah, the way it's shot, the choreography and everything about it is great. Especially like Archer versus Archer. I'm a huge bow geek. I think archery is super dope. So getting to see like two people duke it out like that is really cool.
I don't think the fight was that much of a beatdown as far as the entire fight goes. Yes, it ended poorly for Oliver's favor, but I think if a split second decided that. And maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just really analytical about things, but I feel that if Oliver kind of replayed the fight in his head even once, be like, okay, you know, let's take this opportunity to learn and grow from it and be ready to kick his ass next time. But he just kind of sold, and I'm not a big fan of that. But the scene in and of itself, chef kiss, it was beautiful.
In these episodes, I'd say the best actor, or at least the one I enjoy watching them, is definitely John Barrowman.
What do you say I take you home and eat your pussy?
The way he delivers his lines and interacts with other characters is both menacing and mysterious. He's already been revealed as the man behind the evil plan to some extent, but I still want to see him and know more about his character. So, Antonio, would you agree with that? Or is there another actor in the cast in these episodes that really stands out to you?
I think that John Barrowman does a fantastic job at kind of setting that pace, if you will, where, okay, we know that something's going on. We know that Malcolm has got some cards he's holding close to his chest. He's not necessarily what he seems. That is one of the things I enjoy about him being the Dark Archer and being unmasked as the Dark Archer, is that he's playing like the political quote unquote long game, but also he's got the skills to take Oliver in a fight. And that combination of things, I feel, is going to make him a great villain.
So I feel like a lot of the hype, I guess, around John Barrowman. I do really like John Barrowman, but he's probably one of the most experienced and well-known actors on the show. I think someone who probably gets, I think, overlooked a bit as far as their acting performance is definitely, and I really can't, I'm blanking on his name, the guy who plays Detective Lance. I think part of that is just because his character is an easy character to hate, especially in season 1. But I think he does a really good job of delivering like a lot of emotion and power behind his lines, and like very believable. You really feel like his character is dealing with all of this like kind of bottled up emotional trauma and all of these sort of like feelings that he has towards Oliver and his family because of what happened to Sarah. I really like a lot of his performances, especially in these early episodes.
Talking about, who we think is a good actor, I'm going to move to the other side of that spectrum. In episode 8, Oliver and Helena are standing at Sarah Lance's gravesite, and they both, to me, look so stiff as they deliver their lines. I noticed in other episodes, Stephen Amell delivers certain lines with this same sort of stance where he's got his hands, as fists, and they're just sitting still at his sides, almost like he's flexing his, biceps or something. I'm not sure. But I realized not everybody talks with their hands like I tend to do. I'm actually talking with my hands right now. But something about the way he holds them just seems way too stiff and fake. Antonio, what do you think about that?
You touched on Oliver and Helena, and I think it's the other side of that coin that is the quote-unquote bad acting, but I feel like her casting choice and the way that she portrays her character comes off as really hammy. I feel like almost everything that she did, almost every line that she delivered, felt a little bit more played up than it needed to be.
I think the biggest thing that stands out to me is they're trying to really sell this relationship between Oliver and Helena that's starting to develop, this like sort of like spark or chemistry or whatever you want to call it. And I don't feel anything looking at it. Like I don't feel like there's any sort of chemistry. Like what they're trying to sell me, I just feel like is not there at all. And I do think a lot of that comes from Helena's actress, who just I genuinely don't feel is particularly strong in these episodes. I know she does come back in like later seasons, and I think it's a bit better if I recall when she does. But in these first few episodes, I remember just thinking like, wow, this is who they got to play the Huntress. Like this is just disappointing. Like this is a really interesting kind of, you know, lesser known character in the comics, and it was really not a fan of this arc for that reason.
I'm Danno.
I'm Antonio.
And I'm Gordon.
And this has been the Basement Roadshow AV Club. Join us next time. We'll be talking about episodes 11 through 15. Let's see what the continuing adventures of Arrow are.
Okay, but hold on. Real talk here. So when Oliver gets shot by the Dark Archer and Diggle somehow gets him to the hospital and cleans him up, he tells them it's been a motorcycle accident, despite the fact that he had 2 arrows in his back. I mean, what is going on in Starling City? Does it just happen to be the perfect mixture of all the people who are literally the worst liars ever, mixed with people who are also the most gullible individuals ever? I mean, Oliver doesn't even come up with good excuses. Oh, sorry, my liquor distributor called. I guess I have to leave the family brunch. Sorry about that, Mom. Like, who believes this? Who's like, sorry, your liquor distributor had an emergency and you have to leave in the middle of brunch? I mean, what the hell? Who would think that this is a viable excuse? And no one thinks like, maybe we should just like figure out where Oliver spends his time. Like no one thinks like, there's something fishy here. I bet we could get to the bottom of this. They're all just like, well, at the very least, if he is a lying asshole, he's just an asshole. Who cares?
What do you say I take you home and eat your pussy?